Hiya. I want to talk to you about CVs because it's a hot topic that we always get asked questions on and ask for support on from the graduates and students that we work with at Graduate Ambitions. Now, your CV is one of the most critical elements of the application processes that you enter into. It's a perfect way to whet the appetite of recruiters and make them curious to learn more about you, to want to invite you to the next stage. So how do you make sure that your CV represents you and what you can bring to the role? Well, first of all, it's important to recognise that there's actually a number of different purposes that your CV serves. And of course, that's to evidence your key skills and experience, but it's also to convey your personality and what makes you different from all the other candidates that have applied for the job role. Your CV is also there to help highlight how closely you match the job role requirements, to demonstrate where you can add value to the job role and to the business, and to make you memorable, to make you stand out and help you get to that next stage. Now, it can be difficult to know where to start and how to tailor your CV and to make sure it can serve each key purpose. So I'm going to take you through some tips now that will help you as you build your CV and also if you need to tailor it for any job applications in the future. So first of all, let's think about the format. There's lots and lots of different templates out there that you can use, and some of them look great. They've got nice bold colours at the top or panel sections down the side for you to put bits and pieces of information in that you might not want to mix in with the main body of your CV. And you would think with all of that going on, it would really help your CV to stand out. But actually, the reality of it is that's not true. And I would really advise that you avoid those types of template, because the thing is, when someone's reading your CV, their eye will be drawn to the colour at the top or to the box down the side or to whatever else it is that you might have going on there to make it stand out. And that's a distraction from them reading the valuable content of your CV and getting to know you. So you don't want anything to distract the reader from reading about you, from getting to know you and wanting to invite you to the next stage. So my advice to you is to keep it simple. Just use a black font on a white or a cream background and have some headers for each section of your CV that will help the reader to digest the information in bite-sized chunks. Now, to make it easy, you also want to make sure that you choose a font that is good to read on both screen and print. So I would suggest you use a size 11 font in a standard font like Arial, Times New Roman or Calibri. Anything that's too cursive or fancy or bold is quite difficult for people to read a lot of. So we also get asked a lot, how long should your CV be? And a lot of people have a one-page CV so that they can say, well, it's short, it's simple, it makes it easier for the reader to see everything about me all on one page at a glance. They'll be able to be like, yep, that's really good, I want to see this person. But the reality is that you're actually wasting an opportunity to showcase yourself and your employability, because they will typically expect a 2-page CV. So as much as that's a guide, I'm going to say aim for that 2 pages. And just make sure that everything that's on there is valuable. Now, the 2 pages is a good guide because it allows you the space to put on all the information you want, but it means that you'll still be concise on the important points. Now, if your CV happens to stretch to 2.5 or 3 pages long, then that's not the end of the world, so long as all of the information that's on there is relevant and helps to showcase your employability. If it's longer than 2 pages and the additional information doesn't actually add any value, then it won't help your application. So make sure you think that through. Now let's move on to content. First of all, what content should you have on your CV and in what order? Well, I recommend you use the order I'm going to take you through, because that's what employers will expect at this stage in your career. First of all, no surprise, your personal details, and then followed by your professional or personal profile, whatever you want to name it is fine. Next should be your education, because that's what you're really bringing here, and then your key skills. And then after that, your employment or volunteering history and any extracurricular activities or interests. Now, when you write your professional or personal statement, this is your opportunity to help the reader to connect to you, but also to connect you to the job and to understand your reasoning for applying in the job in the first place. It helps to build some context around your statement so that the reader can start to get to know you. So in that short paragraph of that profile, you want to have who you are, what you can bring to the job role, and why you're interested in either that role, that company, or the industry sector in particular. Now, for the other sections of your CV, it's important that it's not just lists or bullets. And certainly for your qualification, that's not just a transcript of the modules that you've done. You need to be able to start to bring your CV to life so that whoever's reading it can see some context around about what you have to offer and help them to start to see you in the job role that you've applied for. So first of all, check the job description and the company website. What skills are important for that job and what are the core values of the company? What attributes are they asking that their employees have? And once you know this, consider your experience. Are there any relevant modules from your university course that have helped you to develop skills, or where you've used a particular system or process that is also mentioned for the job role, or there's one very similar mentioned for the job role? If so, when it comes to your education piece, then include those details and also how you used it in practice. Take a couple of lines just to help them see that you don't just know about this, but you've also put it into practice in some way. And then do the same for your key skills. Pick 3 or 4 of the key skills that you've got that match the job description or the values of that company, and tell them how you've developed those skills and used them in practice. And you don't need to focus just on university and what work experience you have. For example, if you taught yourself how to play the guitar, how did you do this? What research did you do? What practice did you do? How did you get to know how to play the different chords? And what commitment did you make to developing that new skill? How did you assess your own performance and your progress in that development? There's a lot more to it than just, I taught myself how to play the guitar. And those 2 or 3 lines on your approach to developing that skill can really make a difference to helping the reader to see you and not just a page of words. And then when it comes to your employment and volunteering and also your extracurricular activities and interests, then you should also highlight not only the lists of tasks or responsibilities that you've had during your time in those roles, but also the key skills that they've helped you to develop. Just add a list of the skills to join the dots between your experiences and the job role that you're applying for. And don't worry if you mention the same skill more than once across your CV, because actually that helps the reader to understand that you've got a depth of experience there. You've not just done something once. And also it helps them to see that you can apply that skill in more than one setting. And then as you start to tailor your CV to each job role that you're applying for, just make sure that you check that the skills and the context that you provide is relevant for that job across all the different sections of your CV. And where you can, I would also suggest you use the same language as a company, because the more that you can connect with that individual, the better. So if they talk about teamwork, then use that word. But if they call it collaboration instead, then you should make sure you change that on your CV too. And it's really important because the reader will be familiar with the terms and the language that's used within that company and for that job role. So the more that you use that, the more they'll see you as a fit for the role. So I wish you all the best of luck with your applications, and these tips should hopefully be enough to help you build and tailor your CV. But if you want any dedicated one-on-one support with your CV, you can click on our website or on the Graduate Ambitions Resources Hub, and you can set up a CV review there.